All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to go way beyond the grammar books to uncover the secret code that native speakers just seem to know, the unspoken rules of Chinese.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That feeling where you've put together a sentence, it's perfect, every word is in the right place, but you just get this kind of confused look back. It's an incredibly common thing for anyone learning a new language.
And see, here's the thing. The problem probably isn't your grammar at all. It's that you've bumped up against one of these invisible rules. It turns out that knowing the words is really only half the battle.
So this whole world of unspoken rules actually has a name. It's a field of study called Pragmatics. And honestly, getting your head around it is the real key to sounding natural.
Basically, you can think of pragmatics as the science of reading the room. It's not about what a word means in the dictionary, it's about what you mean when you say it, right here, right now, to this specific person. It's all about the context.
To really break this down, linguists use a few core ideas. They think about language as an action, like making a promise. They work from the idea that we're all trying to cooperate when we talk. And they spend a lot of time looking at politeness and all the things we imply without actually saying them out loud. These are kind of the building blocks of it all.
Okay, enough theory. Let's look at how this actually works in the real world. How does context actually give our words meaning?
So first up, we've got a concept with a pretty fancy name, dexis. But don't worry, all it really means is pointing words. You know, words whose meaning totally depends on who's talking, where they are, and when it's happening. Just look at this example. If I tell you, I'll meet you there later, that's completely useless information, right? Where is there? When is later? But as soon as we add context, I'll meet you at the library at 3 p.m., everything becomes crystal clear. That's decis. Simple as that. Now, let's build on that with another fancy-sounding word, anaphora. It's just the term for how we refer back to things we've already mentioned in a conversation, and this is somewhere Chinese does things really differently from English.
Okay, look at this. In English, to be clear, we keep saying he, but look at the Chinese example. Once the topic, Wangpeng, is set, you can just drop the subject. It's called a topic chain. The language trusts the listener to keep track of who's doing what. It's super efficient, but it can definitely trip you up if you're not used to it.
And all of this leads us to what is probably the biggest hurdle for language learners. It's not really about making grammar mistakes. It's about navigating what we can call the appropriateness gap.
I mean, this quote just nails it. The real challenge isn't just speaking, it's knowing how to speak in a way that fits the social situation. If you miss that, your communication can fall flat, even if your grammar is absolutely flawless.
A huge piece of this puzzle is politeness. What sounds perfectly normal and polite in one culture can come across as blunt or even a little rude in another. This is a classic source of misunderstanding.
And this example shows it perfectly. In a lot of Western cultures, asking a friend for help directly is totally normal. But a common Chinese approach is to start indirectly, maybe by asking, "Are you busy this weekend?" Why? Because it gives the other person an easy out. It lets them say no without causing embarrassment, which is all about maintaining social harmony.
So the big question is, if this is all so important, how do we actually teach it? How do we take these unspoken rules and bring them into the classroom in a useful way?
Well, for any teachers out there, it really comes down to a few key things. First, actually compare the norms side by side, just like we've been doing. Second, don't just teach the rule, teach the cultural why behind it. And finally, you've got to practice real-life situations, not just stiff dialogues from the textbook.
All right, let's wrap this up. What's the main thing you should take away for your own language learning?
The ultimate goal is to make that shift from just speaking a language, knowing the vocabulary and the grammar, to truly using it to connect, to communicate effectively, and to feel confident in any situation.
So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. From now on, what unspoken rules are you going to start listening for? Because the moment you start to notice them is the moment you're on the path to really mastering them.